Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about how I contour my nose. I know that a lot of us has a different shape of nose. Obviously my nose is something that I am proud of, but you know, in the world of makeup we need to correct it a little bit. We need to accentuate the beauty a little bit. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So obviously I already have my makeup done. I have my eyeshadow, all my foundation, I have concealer. I also contoured my cheekbones, but I haven't touched my nose. So the only thing that's in my nose right now is concealer. So I make sure that there's no skin textures. We want to make sure that shadow is showing up a little more, so that's what we are going to start with. And I'm gonna show you all the products and the brushes that I'm gonna use in this video because I really wanted you guys to see how I do it, and so you can also do it yourself. So I'm gonna bring you a little closer so you can see a lot more details. So this is something that I do it simple, and I will make sure that this is, you know, something relatable that you guys can do it, especially when you're just doing it the first time or if you're practicing. Just keep watching and I will bring you closer. When you're trying to contour a nose, so you want to make sure that your line is straight. You don't want to create like a crooked line because, you know, your nose will be also crooked. For the brush that I'm gonna use today, this one is actually from Silk Pro. This is a little flat brush. It says this one is flat eyeliner BC451. And so for my contouring powder, actually this is an eyeshadow. It's a cooler tone and it's the shade Wedge from MAC. So yeah, I'm gonna start dipping my brush right here to get that color. So this is definitely a cooler tone. I don't want that almost like a red or like golden tone in my nose. I wanted to do something cooler so that it brings up more, it shows up more on the face, because normally my skin is already warm. It's a lot of more like brown skin tone, olive skin tone, so you want to make sure that we use cooler to contour. So make sure that you always pat off the excess from the brush. So I'm going to start right into the bridge of my nose just to create that nice line. So I'm going to place it right there where my birthmark is. I'm just starting to drag it down straight so you guys can see that line starting to form. So I like to continue that all the way right into my nostril. So I want to make sure that this is also not very wide, because you can see I have a wide nostril or something. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So as you guys can see, I already have this two line run into my nose from the bridge all the way to my nose ball. So this is something that you always have to remember, that you need to make a straight line if you want your nose to look more pointed, look more smaller in person or either in the camera. The next thing that we need to do is we are going to draw a line just a little bit under my nose ball, because we want to make sure that this is going to look more pointy and upward. So I'm just creating a nice line in here. So I'm using the same brush as I did when I create these two lines. And also, the closer the line you're making in your nose, the more pointy, the more smaller your nose will appear. Now that I created this line just under my nose ball, we are going to connect it into the two lines, make a little more like a triangle shape to connect that, so you guys can see we will have a nice pointy nose after this. I know it sounds a little bit unreal, but it will look like that, and it looks creepy right now, but bear with me guys, it's gonna look awesome. Like I said earlier on the start of my video, this is something that we do to just correct or accentuate our beauty. So we are starting to seeing that effect that I'm really happy with, but we still have a lot of work to do, so this is just the beginning. So what you want to do with that, you don't want to leave it like that, right? It just looks hilarious, okay? Unless it's intentional. Okay, so right after we draw that line, I am going to use this brush here. This is actually one of my concealer brush that I use under my eye sometimes, but I have a lot of options. So I'm going to use this today because this one is kind of like a flat but has a little bit more hair in it. So it's kind of nice to diffuse a sharp line, especially when we are doing contour. This one is also from Silk Pro. This is the eye shader C411-S. I'm going to start to blend this harsh line around my nose using this. So you want to make sure that when you blend this line, you stay in place. You don't want to drag and kind of like start spreading it. So just kind of like stay in the line and make sure you're also stroking it slow, because you don't want to eventually lose that line or the work that we did. So we just want to make this one a little softer and just follow the line. So this is something a lot of beginners or something that have no idea how to contour the nose, sometimes they forget that you still need to make a straight line so that you can get that nice nose. So as you guys can see that it's already starting to get softer, it's blending, and I'm doing the same thing here. So also now I'm going to start blending the line around my nose balls. Just making sure these are all soft, and then we can jump into the next step. As you guys can see, that is my nose at the moment. I am not satisfied with this yet. Okay, so now the next step that I'm going to do is to grab a nice warm eyeshadow to just connect this line that you can see from here. I didn't go all the way here to higher because you don't want your nose to also look like very long. We're going to create like a nice curve and connect this line into our brow, just to connect it a little more under here where my brush is. So for the brush that I'm going to use, this one is actually from Estee Lauder. There's no number or anything, it's just Estee Lauder. That is the shape. So it's a little longer, a little smaller on the edge, rounder. So we want to make sure that eyeshadow that we apply around here is more diffuse, is more softer, because we don't want to create a really strong line around there. And I'm gonna be using the product, not the one, from MAC. So I've been using this for my contouring as well. This is their black powder. So just be aware that we don't want to be putting too much product. So you guys can see it's starting to look like they're connected. So I'm just gonna blend a little more towards my brow and inside. So I'm just kind of like where my inner corner eye, I don't know, it's just there, you guys can see it. I'm focusing on that. Keep blending back and forth and follow that kind of shallow part in there. But you don't want to necessarily put too much product into the precise line we made. But as you guys can see, it's just make that illusion that there's this curve which we are looking for. I cleaned my brush and then I'm just gonna go over and diffuse this line a little bit more, because I can still see that harsh line. So that is something that I'm looking for, and I'm really satisfied with how the line is diffused, how the line is softer. So I like that. So I'm gonna go ahead onto the other side, the same technique, and just do it, same thing. So I could tell right now that my nose is more pointed thanks to this makeup thing that we have. So now that you can see, because I connected the line, the first two line that we did earlier, now that we connected that all the way to our nose bowl, nostril, and here, it looks like it's a little bit longer. It's just because they are all one line. That means we need to create something that would also kind of like cut that off. We are going back to the brush, the very first brush that we use, this flat one. So I'm using the wedge, the first one that we use, to create a line over here. Okay. So create this vertical line, and obviously that's very obvious. Obviously that's very obvious. What kind of word am I using, guys? I need English tutorial. Okay. Well, not that I'm really bad at speaking with English, but I just feel like sometimes it's really hard to translate in my brain, because you know, guys, I speak fluent Filipino, and sometimes at my work I have friends, my family, I have a lot of clients at work that speaks my language, so my English is like all over the place. Like when I came from work, or after I talk to my family, or after I talk to my friend, then I suddenly would speak English. So that's like kind of weird, like the processing of just remembering the word and just, you know, back and forth. Like I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit lost. But anyway, I'm not complaining. I love it. I love my language. I love English. But so just sometimes, just forgive me, because it's just not easy, guys. It's not easy. And also I speak my own dialect as well. So overall, Filipino is different. As you guys know, that's like Tagalog. And I'm giving you a little bit of my background and my culture. And then my dialect is called Ilonggo. Yeah, so I speak that fluent. I speak Tagalog fluent. And I speak English. And I'd like to learn more. But for now, let's focus into this one. Okay, so this is the line that we created. So now, of course, we are not going to leave that just like that. So we need to blend that. Okay. Sometimes if brush couldn't diffuse the product, just use your finger. Make sure that your finger is clean, and then just kind of like dab it just to get rid of some of the color. There you go. Okay, so now that we are finished blending all of that lines and curves and everything around it, so it's time for us to snatch this a little more. So we're gonna use concealer. Basically, we're cleaning up and we're trying to diminish the shadow around here, so that the line that we created into our nose, bridge of the nose, it will stand up more, stand out. Okay, so now I'm just gonna blend this. So this is really going to bring up our nose contour. As you guys see, that is looking snatch. So concealer is applied, cleaning up all the edge, some shadows that might fell in there, or we did a little bit overline. So that's how it looks after the concealer. So now I'm going to grab the same brush, and then I'm just gonna dip into my Makeup Forever powder just to give it a little more precision, and to just set that concealer around it, and to also just kind of like set this concealer so that it doesn't move around. It helps to kind of diffuse everything. This word, I've been using it on this whole video, and I feel like it's the word of the day. Just diffuse it. As you guys see this, I am really happy with this contour. We are done. So the last thing that we are going to apply is, of course, a highlighter. So for the highlighter that I'm going to use, the MAC Lightscapade. So this is more in a lighter shade. I'm gonna use just applying it with my finger, and then make sure that you don't put too much. Run it on the bridge and of course right here. Okay, and if you put too much, again, use your finger without anything, and then just run it just like that. That is my nose contour. I hope you guys like this and learn from this. This is very easy. I know that you can do it. Just make sure that you create that very important straight line. And of course, not all of us has the same shape of the nose, so make sure that you see what the shape of your nose and where to correct. Do it and then snatch it. That's it for me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy this video. It's simple. You can do this at home even without experience if you're just practicing. If you made a mistake, don't worry. It's just a contour. Just keep doing it every single day. If you are curious to know, you need to do it, because the more you do it, the more you are confident with how to actually draw a straight line. You know the drill. Just keep practicing. You don't have to have the products that I use. As long as it works for you, go for it. Thank you for watching, guys. Please leave a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you are updated on my next video. Thank you guys for watching. I love you and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!